Hello everyone, this is Blank. We are back for another, or the final episode of NomadCraft. We are going to do basically a recap of our season. Yeah, not really a recap, but we're just going to basically go around and look at all the builds that we have done since starting. And obviously, with that being said, let's start off with the first build that we did, which was basically our base. Let's go. Okay, so we are going to our base. The first base actually ever built on the server, and this is basically the tour for it. So we go. Now I could definitely fly there. We built this. But yeah, at a last definitely want the main crystals that were in the glass. Honestly, that's probably one of my favorite parts is these iron crystals within glass. It was something I found out, learned how to do just by messing around in creative. And I could have done slimes or honey, but I thought these glass or these tinted glass actually look better. Then obviously have the magma cubes underneath it, along with some glowstone to give off some light. Yeah, that definitely. I think it looks good. Honestly, it was one of the more fun things to do, just because of the way I found out how to do that. Then with this base, obviously I have the turtles, which why don't face them that way? There you go. Weird how that was. Have our skeleton horse. Have our very first villager, who has our mending trait. This guy, I meant to always bring him to the top where the other villagers were, just never happened. He would always stand right here. But neither here nor there. We had kelp, like, and underneath was our mining area, and then over here, like you saw in the last video, we have our lays and the frogs. Oh, you're still holding cake. I forgot about that. Meow. Then we go upstairs. And we have our first floor, kind of, which this floor has gotten a lot of renovations since the beginning. It was originally a tree farming area that turned into just this area, which was mainly just used for the map here and of basically the whole starting area, and then world map, and then also clay. We have food stuff. What else is there? Oh yeah, we have our AFK fishing thing set up that we hardly ever used, except for yeah, hardly ever used it. Let's see, what else was there? There's, oh yeah, a bunch of initial chests, and I just never, I never really moved any of this stuff up to the upper floors. For some reason, I don't know, never did. And then we all had our initial bone meal structures. A clock. I don't know why I made that clock. I don't think I ever used clocks, but for some reason I did. Our initial farming area on the second floor, which we have potatoes, carrots. I think originally I also had, oh yeah, we had beetroots. I think we used to have a whole section for beetroots. And then wheat, of course, because we have plenty of cows on the second or third floor. Then we got our bamboo farm, which is 2 floors. And honestly, this one, if I do a bamboo farm for next season, I am definitely gonna make it a lot. I'm gonna improve on it. I'll say it that way. I'm gonna do a lot of different things. Um, we just have our regular cow. We have our a auto cow or auto steak farm. We have our villagers, all the villagers that honestly I was eventually gonna get to making putting villagers in all spaces, but never got to it. Another thing. Then we have our I can sweet berries. Can never remember the name of that. Then we have our sugar cane. Yeah, we can do that for old time's sake. We have our cocoa beans, our lava, netherwort, our kelp, which we can also hit for. This one I actually thought was a decent idea. It's not. I'm sure people have made better kelp farms in the past, future, all that stuff. But this one actually turned out pretty decent. Obviously, you lose some of the kelp along the way, but for how much you actually need kelp, this turned out to be pretty good for an investment. This seagrass and axolotl farm, very handy. I forgot these up here. Yep. Snow farm that we never really used, but we have. Let's see. Oh yeah, let's do the bamboo also. And let's see. Iron golem farm. Which, honestly, this is probably one of the best things I made. I'll definitely make another one next season. Because honestly, iron farms are fantastic to use, always have. I might do something a little bit different for next season though, like look-wise, or maybe even a new kind of, or try to make a new way of, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Basically try to make a new way of getting the iron from the iron golems. I guess that's probably the best way to put it. Who knows? Then we got our chorus fruit. It's just chorus fruit. Nothing crazy about it. And that's about it for this farm, or this level. Then once we go up to the next level, we have our pumpkin farm. This one I might make for next season, but honestly, I'll make like a really small one. Nothing crazy like this. And then also, if I do decide to make like a collection area, I'll do something like this, but more compact and efficient. This one was a farm that never actually came or got to see the light of day, but neither here nor there. This was a bone meal thing. This was for concrete. Forgot about that. Then this was our cactus farm. Honestly, I made this way too big. This one, really, I could have made like a 3x3, and it would have been just fine. But it's okay. Next season, yeah, I would probably want to have green dye for something, so I'll make a cactus farm. It'll just be like a 3x3 or something. Nothing crazy. Honey farm, though, I will say this one, I do plan to actually make a honey farm next season, and it will be a full-on automatic honey and wax farm. Is that what it's called? Honeycomb and honey farm. Yeah, that's definitely going to be one of the other ones I think for next season. So iron farm, honey, or bee farm. So iron golem, bee farm, maybe a cobblestone generator. The basalt one, I don't know. It's a decent idea, but I never really actually used it as much as I should have. Like, obviously I had to use it for Mega Base a lot, but other than that, not really as much useful as I could have done. Let's see. And then Ooh, best build, or honestly probably one of the hardest builds, but ones I enjoyed the most was this ship. The ship, absolutely. And then doing the nether one. The nether staircase, the way to call it, doing that was a lot of fun to actually do. I think one of the best or most viewed video on the channel was making that staircase over there, the just regular floating islands. But doing the floating nether world, or the floating nether island one, was probably my favorite one to actually do, which, just as a whole, while this whole boat was a task and a half, um, but it was a lot of fun to actually do and then finally get the whole completion. Like we have end crystal in the middle, we have our whole. It kind of looks like a ship, but obviously because it's angled, and I made it look bigger. A lot of problems that came with it, but also a lot of fun creativity because of it. Would have been cool to actually get a choker on here. That would have been a lot of fun. But neither here nor there. And then we have our storage room. And then obviously the top, which is where our nether portal is. So that is our farm base. So that's basically the first build of a few. I guess let's get to the next build, which is just around the corner. And I mean, it's literally right around the corner. This is our drown farm. This one was a basic attempt. Honestly, this one is not perfect. If I were to do another drown farm, honestly, I'd do it maybe in the sea or something, or yeah, something like that, where they were spawning. This was a little bit of a poor attempt to do it, but an attempt nonetheless. Like, oh hey, we actually have found it. Yeah, nothing crazy with it. It could be better, could be worse. Like, we have some copper, which is nice. Fishing rod, we got both of our tridents from here, along with one more, I think. Um, Fortunately, not a lot of people actually used it, so it didn't turn out to be as useful as one might think. But if I do this farm again next season, I'll definitely do something different. And then probably next area, or what did I build next? I think it was the gold farm. Yeah, so I guess let's check out the gold farm and go from there. Alright, so we are at our gold farm. Basic design that we have. This is another farm I will be doing for next season. Have something big in mind planned for next season where it will actually require quite a bit of gold. So I might actually improve on the design so where this is actually a little bit more efficient. We get a lot more gold for the amount of time that we're doing or we're spending at the gold farm. But then also having this trader, this piglin, became very useful. Especially with this hopper clock that we, or not the hopper clock, with the redstone clock that we have going on for it. Plus we have all the gold that we got collected over there. We can put it into ingots, put it down here in the dispenser, and then once we turn this on, these guys would trade at a perfect rate where there's no loss, or basically you might get maybe a tick between trading and a gold being dispensed, but it's basically exactly timed. So this was a definitely fun thing that I had going on for it. If I were to change it for next season, maybe I would put like 2 or 3 of these piglins in and connect it to the system. That'd be probably the only change I have for it, but other than that, this worked out very well. And then after the gold farm, oh, also, we definitely got a lot of stuff from this. But now let's go on to the gas farm. So we are at the gas farm that we made quite a while ago. Once we have the wither roses, but this turned out actually quite useful. As originally we were trying to do a gas advancement where we take it to the overworld, all that stuff. But this actually, while we were just AFK here for a little bit, provided a good amount of gas tiers and gas, but something we definitely probably didn't need to do or need to make, but it was fun to make it anyways. Let's see if we can actually see a cast spawn. If it decides to. Who knows? But anyways, this was a lot of fun to make. This one, I probably could have utilized it a lot more than I did, but it was fun to make, learn how to do a lot of the redstone mechanics. Basically above a lot of high places. And then this portal was just to a terracotta or the Badlands biome. Yeah. Their scream or a screech is very loud. I think the gas one is from a audio of a cat from one of the Minecraft creators, if I'm correct. If you guys know, probably fact check me on that. I'm pretty sure it's from a cat though. I just forget whose cat it was. But that being said, we still have a couple more builds left, and then I think that will more or less wrap up this season. So let's go into the next one. Alright, and I think this is the final farm I made for the season, was this Froglight farm. Honestly, this one was a lot of fun to me, but I don't think I'll make one next season. It was kind of difficult to actually bring all the frogs here. That was probably the most difficult part. But after that, it's mainly like, hey, do you want to actually clear this whole bastion? That's, I mean, I've done it. It's not impossible to do, but it's one of those things that where it's like, the Froglights are great, but I don't need it to happen. It's okay, it's fun, but it's not necessary. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Other than that, though, it was a lot of fun to build this. Instead of this, though, next season I might build a slime farm. Another farm I will probably make is a shulker farm. Definitely those two I want to tackle next season. Those will actually come in very useful, and I think it will be interesting to actually make and maybe put my own improvements or spin on them. And then, other than that, obviously we have the mega base to go to, and then we have a couple things I actually helped with. Not that I built all of it, but I definitely helped with some of it. So let's go back to the starting area. Let's go. I actually forgot. This was not a farm that we did, but we actually broke through bedrock. Forgot that this was like one of the major things I did on this this season was break the bedrock all the way down, so essentially we could get from the bottom or the regular nether to the top. Completely forgot that I did that, but nonetheless, that's what we did. So, but yeah, we still have to go to the starting base or starting area, I should say. Okay, here's the other thing that, or one of the builds I helped with was this kind of like library area that was made underground in the starting area. This was something that me and one other person on the server we worked on throughout our time, and he did a lot of this area or inside this area, but I would definitely help him out, whether it just be gathering blocks or stuff like that, or the trees. I got those. Then I also this was the area I built, and this was mainly just the crystal area where I used this area quite often for a lot of tinted glass, stuff like that. And then after that, we can go to the main base. So let's go. Alright, now this was the tunnel that we built for the main base, and pretty standard. But obviously you guys have seen it plenty of times at this point, just because I keep flying a lot from one area to the next. But honestly, once we get in, I'll just go to the beginning of it, and we'll just do a little recap. So in the last video you guys saw that we did the towers, warden, and I'm curious if the wardens are actually taking out the mobs. The fact that there's a creeper right there, I would say no. Um, hmm. Probably put that on me just in case. But yeah, got that right there. Another warden here. There it is. It's weird how the wardens actually take quite a while to load in versus all the other mobs, but I digress. And obviously the entrance. This is probably one of the most proud builds I have. This one came out amazing. Definitely a lot of fun to build this. This one, I think it's just clean, and not really much more I can say about it. It's just a lot. It was a lot of fun to build this one. A lot of planning that went involved. But yeah, this whole entrance area was, I think this is probably one of the best looking parts of the build. Then we have our little farm area where we plant flowers, have some sniffers, um, some grass area, and then obviously the wall or the ceilings have the flower petals come down, which is nice. Nice little touch. We have our sword, or the portal sword, that disappears into the darkness and is encased, or the blade essentially is all netherite blocks. This one was okay to do. It took a while to actually get all that netherite. I will say, this part was not as fun, or this build was not as fun as some of the other ones, like the ones on our sides. The aquarium storage area. This one was a lot of fun to build just because it's one of those ones. It makes me remind of a movie. I forget what the movie is. I'm sure it's been actually done in multiple movies, but where the vault is underwater and hard to get to. So that's kind of like why, like, kind of inspired me to make this build. And then for this area, this whole staircase to level 2, this one was a lot of fun to make actually as well. This one just kind of inspired me, or not really inspired me, but this one I thought came out great with the whole lava ceiling and looked like the lava is flowing down from the top. That I thought works out very well. Then we have these like little sword kind of things in the ground with water in them. And then obviously the bag I could have probably done something with, but at the end of the day, I don't mind it as much as when I first did it. So I think it works out very well. Then we go on to. I was about to go on the stairs, but let's do this first. So we have our little gathering area, gathering slash dining hall. Uh, it's nice, nothing crazy, nothing special about it. It's just a nice little area. Then we have our kitchen. Kitchen turned out not super fancy, but this stove kind of thing I like a lot. It actually came out very well. Probably could have done something a little bit more with it, but make it look a little bit more realistic, but I think it worked out very well. Then we have our whole like smokers, and then bamboo, sugar cane here, pumpkin, and watermelon there, which we should probably update. Oops. Yeah. Okay. And then we have our kelp that is going on there. Furnaces, some storage for various stuff, as well as right here. And then this is just kind of like the top, where we have our kelp farm that is kind of like a simpler rendition of the one I did back at the farm base. Works basically the same way, just the only difference is you have um, one versus many. Then we have just some basic farm stuff there. A smaller version of the pumpkin and melon farm. The chicken, automatic chicken farm, which kind of works, kind of doesn't. The thing that I did not like about this one is that the original chicken farm I have been using for, I think, 4 or 5 years. Doesn't work. Doesn't work anymore in Minecraft, which is very odd. I've set it up multiple times, so I know exactly how to set it up. And when I set it up in right here, it was like, nope, this doesn't work anymore. I thought it was very strange, but maybe you guys know something I just don't know. But I'm like, that's one thing I am pretty confident in knowing. But then obviously we go over here and we have our sugarcane and bamboo. So yeah, that kind of does it with the farm or the little kitchen area. Also, I actually did like doing these doors like this, where it kind of looks like it's opened a little bit, or it is open. Same with the library over here. This one turned out, I think this one turned out better because we did 4 versus 3. But and then this whole library I thought looks very good actually. It doesn't compare as much to the library that is in the starter base, the starting area, but for what we have, it's actually pretty good. Could it be better? Of course. I'm not going to say it can't be better, but basically spending a week on it, doing all this in a week, I think is pretty impressive. It could have, like, could I have spent more time on it? Sure. I could have spent 2 weeks on it, and it probably could have been a lot better. I could have improved on a lot of stuff. But in the end of the day, I am satisfied with this whole first floor. Even the second floor and third floor. Not going to say anything bad about them. I thought all of them turned out great. Now, if we go over to the staircase. Staircase turned out great. I like the floating aspect of it, where it looks like it's floating, but obviously kind of makes it look like it's connected or it would support because it's connected to like the wall here and there. But this thing, plus the chains here, make it look very nice. But I do like the whole, hey, you can actually see the lava flowing in from the second floor. I think that's a nice touch. And then obviously our whole smelter area. And then obviously the highlight of this build is the giant furnace. Of course it is. It's not like I'm not going to downplay that at all. Of course that will be the highlight of this build. But having the lava kind of look like it's flowing into the area, obviously you'd recognize that this lava is flowing in from downstairs to look like it's still filling up the sword. So I think that's a nice touch. Then up to the third floor, which is the ice tower, which was one of the more recent videos, where we have our map, we have our whole little study area, essentially. And then obviously upstairs is the bedroom with some storage and whatnot. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Also, we have, before we end it, we also have our little vault area that I've updated it a little bit with like just for the music stuff. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video nonetheless. If you did, give a little like, comment on the video, stuff. Always appreciate it. Yeah, always, definitely always appreciate that. And I guess I will see you in next season, whenever that